Smart Cities Week 2015. I'm Carol Stimmel, and I'm in the Smart Cities Week studio today with Paul DeLong, who is the President and CEO of Car2Go North America. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. You look excited about this, so yeah.
Well, all right. So actually I am kind of excited because Car2Go is a little different than a lot of the things that we've become used to in terms of innovative getting around.
Yep.
We think about all of the different, sharing, collaboration, car services, but Car2Go is what you call a point-to-point service, right? I'm not really sure what that means.
So let me put it in easier terms. The way that we describe it is basically you have instant mobility access on your own terms. And what I mean by that is that with Car2Go, it's free floating, in which you can go from point A, go to point B, and not have to come back to point A. So it's instant access. You don't have to make a reservation. You can just walk up to a vehicle with your phone, access the vehicle, get in, punch in your 4-digit PIN code, go to your destination, and leave the car there. So, on your own terms is a really other important piece of that statement because you're not committed to bring the vehicle back in a certain period of time. You can keep the car for as long as you want, and you can go wherever you want as well. The only thing is that we just ask you to just bring the car back home at the end of the day. So it's a kind of a different way. We call traditional round trip car sharing, in which you go from point A, go to your destination, but you have to come back.
Right.
So with Car2Go, it's all about from A to B, and that's it. So all about your own terms.
So
flexibility and convenience.
Okay, so I'm picturing that in my head and how I would use it. I would love that. What is your vision, what is your idea about how this kind of a car sharing business can actually improve some of the transportation challenges we have today?
Well, I always say that we're part of a solution when it comes to this entire mobility ecosphere that's out there right now. That Car2Go is part of a solution, that we help complement the other forms of transportation, and they also help complement us. So it kind of goes both ways. So if we look at public transportation, that sometimes bus lines or rail can only get you to a certain point, and then using Car2Go can help complement you getting to that last mile, the first and last mile solution. So for us, when it comes to really working with all the other mobility options that are in the cities, it's just like we really want to show that we can help complement the existing forms of transportation that are out there right now.
I would imagine that from a business perspective, partnerships are very important to you. So are you working with cities, municipalities? Where are you? Where would I be able to avail myself of your...
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of twofold because working with local businesses is very important because as you operate a local business, you got employees. You got employees that need to find their way down. Either to the urban core or wherever the place of business is. But you also have employees that work late at night as well. And they need sometimes transportation that's more frequent. And that's where our service comes in. When it comes to government, when it comes to working with communities itself, what we typically do is we're very transparent. We're very open as far as looking at the entire mobility kind of pattern within that city and saying, you know what, I think that our service can help complement some other forms of transportation that are already in existence that can help people move to their places a lot more easily and a lot more flexible and conveniently.
Okay, so I'm hearing you talking about data analytics as a way of figuring out where to go. I would guess there's a lot of technology that allows you to run the business efficiently, allows you to do this kind of a to get the point-to-point to work.
Sure.
So is that something that's just that you do in your back office and in a proprietary perspective, or is this something that will be exposed in any way to any of your customers?
Yeah, I think data is crucial for what we do. I mean, from an operational side, as a free-floating concept, it's very important for us to understand where our members are going and where they're picking up vehicles, where they're idling the most, meaning that where are they parking the most.
Right.
For us then that becomes part of what I always call weather map. It kind of gives us a visualization as far as where people are moving throughout the city. And from an operational side, it helps us kind of rebalance sometimes our fleet to make sure that we are putting cars where people need them the most. So I think that when we talk about our data, it's very important. And then what we're trying to do right now is be more transparent with our data as well. So when we're talking to cities and we're giving feedback from our member surveys, is that we want to expose our members to a greater amount of data that they can see how they're moving in the city. So we're working on that right now. And hopefully, hopefully we'll use Car2Go a lot more.
Right.
That, hopefully soon that you can look up on your profile and you can start seeing your mobility pattern and maybe kind of making your mobility pattern kind of more relevant with all the other transportation options around you.
Well, we all want more information about our lives,
Absolutely.
just, on our phones, which you're already integrated with location services are becoming critical to almost every application that we run. And we all want to know, where are we going, what are we doing, how are we spending our money, and we can get access to that information. Mm-hmm. So obviously you think all day about the future of mobile transportation infrastructure, and how what you're doing is going to create change. What is your vision? And what do you see out there in the next few years as we start looking at new alternatives?
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see new ways to move around, new apps that are coming to improve the way that people look at transportation. So when it comes to ride sharing, when it comes to peer-to-peer car sharing, when it comes to cab hailing systems, I think we're still going to continue to see more and more of these kind of ride providers out there that can help people move around. The big picture for me is autonomous driving. That I feel that autonomous driving is something that is going to revolutionize, what we're doing today. And today we're in a revolution already when it comes to transportation. That at Daimler, that's our company that we work for at the end of the day, is that from a Daimler perspective, we were the first ones to make the cars. We were the first ones to enter into this one-way car sharing space. And now we're going to be the first ones to get into autonomous driving. And we're set up really perfect right now to really take the data that we're learning today, learning the mobility patterns from people, understanding all these other mobility options that are out there. It sets us up really well for what the future is going to hold, which is, at the end of the day, autonomous driving. Because it's going to be way easier for people to open up an app, pick out a Car2Go, and that car comes right to you. And all you have to do is get into that vehicle, go to where you're going,
right,
get out of that car. You don't have to worry about parking, and then the car just goes to the next call.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that's what I'm excited about. And I'm also thoroughly excited as far as what we're doing right now, because I think we're making a difference in today's world, and we're changing the way people think about transportation.
Obviously, there's a net positive effect on carbon loading, right? Mm-hmm. So I would assume that you're probably already looking at how to measure that and your impact. I don't know if that information is yet available, or if that's something.
When we talk about VMT, or we talk about some of the metrics when it comes to the environment, as far as the positive impacts that it goes, we got to look at the vehicle first. The vehicle as far as a smart vehicle, which is our product right now, which is one of the most fuel efficient vehicles that's out there right now. So for us, we look at that, and we also look at, how often are people searching for parking? Are they driving around more because they're in a car sharing vehicle? And with Car2Go, in the way that we set up right now, which is free floating in the size of our vehicles, that we have people really reducing their carbon footprint, because we're making it easier for them, number one, to drive in a fuel efficient vehicle, and to find a parking spot that they can find and squeeze in, because our cars are about 9 feet in length,
right.
It's a lot more easy for them to find spaces, and more importantly, that they're not idling as much, that they're not sitting, just waiting for a next person to get out of a parking spot, because we have dedicated parking as well that people can use.
Oh, okay, great. So it's a full service.
It's a full service, from dedicated parking to on-street parking to residential parking. All we're trying to do is make things a lot more convenient, so people can maybe reconsider car ownership. For us, having a car is still important. It is, you do need a car at times, but what we're hoping is people maybe reconsider and maybe look at all the other options that are out there, because it may make a difference in their life.
Paul, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Paul DeLong with Car2Go.